In this week's video, I am going to talk about building a business slowly and intentionally. We're going to talk about how pacing can change everything for you, how slow growth equals the right clients, and how to focus on consistency over intensity. And I'm going to share a little bit about my own journey and why I am choosing slow and intentional growth for my own business. So, before we get into it, a little bit about me. My name is Harj, and I am a website designer, and I help people grow their and attract their ideal clients through their website using SEO and blogging. And I've personally chosen a slower and intentional path because I was kind of sick of the hustle culture. It just didn't align with me. I am an introvert. I was feeling exhausted and overwhelmed, and it just didn't feel good anymore. I started my business for a few different reasons, but one of them was to live a life on my own terms. And I wasn't feeling like I was doing that because I was feeling so out of alignment trying to create content the way that other people were and the way that I thought I should. So I am here to tell you that there is a different way to create content and it can work for you. And that if you are anything like me, then maybe a slow and intentional business is also right for you. So let's get into it. So when you start building your business in a different way where you are thinking about long-term results. You're thinking about where you want to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I'm assuming if you are in business, you want it to last long-term. So start thinking in your business in the way of a traditional business where we would think long-term strategy. The problem that I find is that, and I can't speak for anyone else, so I'll speak for myself, but for me, especially when I started my business, I was, seeing people posting all of their short-term marketing strategies that were working really well for them. And then I was getting trapped in this, you know, content hamster wheel of creating Instagram reels, stories, TikToks, all of these things that, live and die within 42 hours or less. And I was creating content because that's just what I was seeing other people doing. And I always knew I wanted to blog because I always knew that a blog has a lifetime of up to 2 years, like even longer, because you should be updating your blogs regardless. But one blog post can attract clients to your website for years. So you're creating intentionally, but it is a slower business growth. For me, eventually, I did choose this because the other way I was just having no growth. Because since I'm an introvert and creating content in a way where it felt so hustle culture-y and just trying to keep up with everybody else, I was getting burnt out. I was feeling out of an alignment. I wasn't feeling good. And so once once the cloud and the dark storm passed, I finally was able to admit to myself that, you know what? Either I can keep going in this way where I'm creating content the way other people are and try to keep up with them and continue to burn out. And then when I burn out, I shut down. So continue the cycle of creating for 3 months, burning out and not doing anything for 4 months, and back and forth, and just really never get anywhere. It's like two steps forward, one step back. But really, it felt like one step forward, two steps back every time. So it was really the realization of either continue doing this or make a change. Do the thing that you want to do, blog consistently, and build your email list. So for me, that's what I chose to do, and that's what I'm helping my clients do. But the reason I'm talking about this is because that mindset shift changed everything, because the pace of everything changed. So I wasn't thinking day to day anymore. And I wasn't, what can I put on my stories today? And I know you can batch create social media content as well, but it it just changed in the sense of I was focusing on creating one or two blog posts per week. So personally, I do two blog posts per week. You don't have to, you could do one. But that took off so much pressure. I was able to think clear. I was able to plan better. I honestly, because I've been able to plan better, I can personally create 2 blog posts per week easier than when I was trying to create one post per week because I didn't have so much mental space being taken up by what should I post on my stories? How do I seem interesting? How do I connect with people? So you can plan better. You can choose better clients because, to be honest, better clients are going to choose you. The people that are going to find you through intentional content, which I'm talking about long form content, YouTube, podcasting, blogging, showing up in places your people are hanging out, but also really providing true value. When you do this, your clients find you and then they choose you. So they're more aligned because they already connect with you. And then you're not trying to just keep up with trends. So that also helps with the pace of everything because you can create your plan, you can, have your 90-day calendar and then know exactly what you're going to do every time you sit down to create without thinking, oh my gosh, did this dance trend just kick in and now I need to do this. And then you can also, I'd also mentioned that slow growth equals the right clients. I kind of touched on this as well because when you are slowly growing and creating intentional content, you're creating content that is truly going to help support and help provide value to your ideal clients. It's real, true value. So, for instance, and I always come back to blog posts because that's what I teach and that's what I do. But you can think about podcasts, you can think about a YouTube video the exact same way. Each piece of content in that way is going to answer a specific question. On this one, we're talking about building a slow and intentional business. So it's very specific to that. So every single piece of content is going to be very specific to what your client's looking for. And they're going to find it because they were actively searching for it, because these are search engines they're searching on. Blog, your website, YouTube, podcast. I don't think that's a search engine, but I don't know much about podcasting, so don't take my word on that. But your people are finding you. They're the right clients. So even though slow can be growth, even though growth can be slow when you're creating long form content and you're relying on search engines, and now AI search, it's, if you're okay with those long-term results that you've set for yourself, then you'll be okay with slow growth because you're attracting those right clients. You're getting them onto your email list. You're working with them. It feels so much better to work with clients that are aligned with you, versus, somebody that might not be aligned with you. And when you create this way, when you focus on intentional, slow business growth, you're focusing on consistency over intensity. So this has kind of been a trend in this video that I've talked about without even really intentionally doing that. But I have mentioned creating content, feeling like I was on the hamster wheel for months, until I burned out. The intensity was just so high. I was just, I need to show up on stories. I need to, and I'm not knocking social media because I still use it. And I do think it's a great way for you to get short-term clients. But when you're thinking about long-term strategies, and especially if you're thinking about a social media exit plan, then, creating these long-form pieces of content is going to be so helpful, and creating them consistently. Even like I said, if it's one piece of long-form content a week versus the intensity of creating nonstop every single day or showing up every single day, it just takes so much of that pressure off. It's easier for you to stay consistent. And then those small habits are going to compound. So those videos that you're creating weekly, blogs you're writing, podcasts, it might seem like, the slowest growth ever, but it will compound over time because those pieces of content don't die overnight. So that's like the best thing, is that you're getting the greatest ROI, return on investment, on creating your content. So consistently creating versus creating with intensity will give you those long-term results. And this way, you're not doing 100 things every single week. You're just creating the one thing that you've committed to. and it just feels so, so much better. And if you do want help showing up consistently without burnout, you can download my free plug and play blog AI writing prompts. I'll link them right up here. So you can use these, literally come up with your blog topic. I do recommend doing your own SEO keyword research without relying on AI tools to do that for you. But do your SEO keyword research, and then plug them into the prompts that I wrote. Literally just copy and paste it into ChatGPT. Just replace a few of those things I tell you to replace, and it will spit out a draft for you for your blog. I don't recommend letting AI write your blog posts, but it is a really great outline and it helps get the ball rolling. You might not even stick to everything that ChatGPT gives you, but it gets you thinking. And to be honest, it's taken my writing process from like 3 to 4 hours down to like 2 hours. So it really does help. It's free. Take advantage. You can grab that again just in that link, or I will also put it in the description. Intentionality creates peace. Okay, this is something that I really wanted to mention because on this channel, you will hear me talk probably a lot about keeping your nervous system calm, regulating your nervous system. This is so important to me for many reasons. One is because I have chronic pain, and if I don't manage my nervous system, then my pain flares up. And so can want to manage your nervous system for any reason that you want, but it really is important to stay in a state of peace and calm when you are a creative running your own business, because most likely you don't have a team. Maybe you have a contractor, and maybe you do have a team, but regardless, there's so many things to do when you're running your own online business, and keeping that peace and keeping your nervous system regulated is just so important. And the reason I'm mentioning this in slow, steady growth is because when you are creating content in a way that feels aligned for you, in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming, that doesn't make you feel burnt out, you can create intentionally and you can create in peace, and it feels good. It feels aligned. You're attracting the right people, and people can feel your energy. I've tried to create videos where I was just like so overwhelmed, not feeling good, but I was like, well, I should do this. And I'm sure that energy reflected in that as well. So intentionality creates peace. It gives you your time back. It gives you your peace back. It keeps your nervous system regulated. You're not in survival mode all the time. And when you create that space for yourself, you can be more creative. And whether you think you're creative or not, if you have a business, let me tell you, you are creative, because we got to figure, pardon my French, shit out. You know what I mean? Like, you are, I always laugh. I feel like you're making everything up. Like, everything you do is you're just like making it up as you go, and that's being creative. So creating that space is going to help you be more creative. It's going to help you make more grounded decisions, and you'll have less comparison because you're not spending time scrolling. You're not spending time figuring out what reel's trending and, oh, they did this with it, they did that with it. You have your plan, you're sticking to it, you're creating intentional content for slow business growth. And if this feels aligned with you, if this feels like something maybe you needed to hear or a transition that you need to make, let me know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe, turn on that little bell. I think it's a bell that notifies you for new videos. I will be posting new weekly videos every single Wednesday. So definitely let me know if there's anything that you want me to talk about, go a little bit deeper on, because I'm creating this for you, because some of the stuff I'm sharing is stuff that I wish I had somebody tell me. It's okay. It's okay to create differently. It's okay to show up in a way that feels good to you and is different than others. So until next week.